the Denver Donkeys. What a disaster the Denver Donkeys were last year with Russell Wilson at quarterback. And remember the big acquisition for the Denver Donkeys, bringing in Russell Wilson from the Seattle Sea Chickens. And they thought this was going to be a lock. I mean, some people had the Donkeys as Super Bowl contenders. Some people even had them in the Super Bowl. Some of the big names out there in the NFL space. But they completely flopped last season. A lot of people lost money on them because if you picked the Donkeys to win, they went 5-12. So, will this season be different? Now, Russell Wilson's assuming that if he's healthy 100%, the Donkeys are not going to be the 32nd ranked offense in the NFL scoring offense. I mean, they were 32nd in the league last year. Doesn't get any worse than that. Probably arguably the worst offense in franchise history statistically, right? From a ranking standpoint. They have never ranked in the I think the lowest they ranked were 28th a couple of times, and in the 20s. They were never in the 30s ever in franchise history. So this was a historically bad year for the Donkeys last year offensively. In some cases, not historically bad. I mean, there were some bad years, but they had some bad offensive years in the last 6-7 years, but they were really bad last year. So bad that they were last in the league of scoring. Now, you got to assume that's going to change this year with a healthy Russell Wilson, right? Healthy Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson played 15 games last year, but he was never really the same kind of guy. He still had over 3,500 yards, but he just didn't play well. 16 touchdowns, 11 picks. He just was not the kind of guy that they were hoping for when they got him over from Seattle. Whether it's health or he's just declining, right? Because Russell Wilson is 34 years old and he'll be 35 in November. So maybe it's that time, right? Because everyone is not going to be Tom Brady. You can't play until your late 30s. I think once we saw Tom Brady through, I think people are now expecting every single elite quarterback to last that long, and that's just not the case. Maybe we're seeing a decline in Russell Wilson and it's not going to get better, but we'll see. 5-12 last year. They missed the playoffs. Now the Denver Donkeys are on a 6-year streak of being under 500. 6 straight years. They haven't been a 500 team and better since 2016 when they were 9-7, and that was only good enough to be third in the AFC West. And that was the year after they won the Super Bowl under Peyton Manning. And even that year with the Peyton Manning year, they weren't great offensively either. I know people forget how bad they weren't that great. The defense pretty much carried them. So we'll see what happens this year. Let's go over the schedule for the Denver Donkeys as they have week 1. They'll be at home hosting the Las Vegas Raiders. This game's going to be at home, 4:30 game, CBS afternoon. I'm going to give the Donkeys the home opener. I'll give them the win there. I think they'll come out, they'll play well, they'll get the W. You got to give them credit for that. Week 2 at home hosting the Washington Commanders. Commanders coming in town. They're going to beat the Commanders. They'll go 2-0. And then that's when things go downhill. The next 4 games at Miami, they'll lose. At Chicago against the Bears, they'll lose. Home to the New York Jets, they'll lose that. Then they go out to Kansas City and they'll lose that one on Prime Video. So they'll lose 4 in a row. They'll be 2-4 heading into week 7 against the Green Bay Packers. Wilson versus Love. And the way Love is looking so far in camp, the Packers are not going to have a great year either. Denver Donkeys will beat Green Bay, and then they'll win at home against Kansas City as they get payback and split the season series. Yes, they will get payback. Division game, I think Russell Wilson will win at home against Patty Holmes and the Chiefs. Then they head to the bye week, 4-4. Not bad. Week 10 at Buffalo, ESPN Monday night. That's going to be a loss for the Denver Donkeys. But then they do win 3 in a row after that. They'll beat Minnesota at home. They'll beat Cleveland at home. And they'll go out to Houston to take on those Texans. And they'll beat them to beat 3 in a row. Things are looking up, right? So what are they now? 7 and 6? No, 7 and 5. Excuse me. 7 and 5. Looking up going into week 14. You'll take that if you're a Donkey fan. They already got 2 more wins than last year, 7 and 5. If they could just play well enough for the rest of the year, they might be in the playoffs. But guess what? It won't happen because things are hit another skid for the Donkeys. Week 14 at LA taking on the Chargers, they'll lose. Week 15 at Detroit, loss. Week 16 at home to New England, Mac Jones, Belichick comes into town and blows the doors off the Donkeys on Sunday night, Christmas Eve, handing Mac Santa coming in town, all Mac St. Nick, giving up those coal to the Denver Donkeys. Week 17, they'll beat the Chargers at home. So now they're 8-8 with the final game of the season at Las Vegas. They'll lose that one and finish the season 8-9. So a rough year, an up and down season for the Denver Donkeys. They'll play better at stretches of the year, but it won't be enough. As at one point in the season, they would win 5 of 6 in the middle part of their schedule, but it won't mean nothing because they'll have a 4-game losing streak and a 3-game losing streak, and they'll finish the season losing 4 of their last 5 to take them out of playoff contention. Sorry, Donkey fans, no playoffs for you this year, as Russell Wilson will have his 2nd straight year with no playoffs for Denver. And that's how it's going to be. 8-9 to finish off the year for the Denver Donkeys.